Hello and welcome to the Yerky Boys. May the Kandrona shine and strengthen you. My name is Will.
My name is Jonathan.
And we are
the Yerky Boys.
That was too in sync. We almost certainly didn't actually get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell on my. I have to come in early. I'm doing it for your benefit, really.
You mean the listeners' benefit?
Yes, but that's secondary. I don't really think about them. I'm like, you're not the one who's doing it out of sync to accommodate what I'm hearing. I'm changing my speech pattern, my timing, so that for your sake and your end, it sounds in sync. I'm making a sacrifice for your benefit. And what are you doing for me?
True.
Nothing.
I'm doing the opening.
Well, if people have listened to our last episode, then you know that we've got a pair of episodes in a row here where we are covering Animorphs fan fiction.
Yes, that's true. Last time we did, what did we do last time? A new Animorph.
That's right, new Animorphs stories.
This time we're crossing over with other properties.
Yes, so this is a big one. This is stories. Again, we're taking a look at fan fiction from fanfiction.net. And these are many of these written a decade or multiple decades ago. And in particular today, we are concentrating on a handful of stories that we have selected that are Animorphs crossovers with other media. And there's a number of these, and fanfiction.net makes it real easy to sort through these and categorize them. Last week, we each chose 5 stories to present to each other. This week, I think that I had too many that I'm interested in. I don't know how many of them have as much depth as the ones from last week, but I don't really know how. I kind of want to do this by looking at it by category and going through them that way. I think it might be a little looser than last week, but maybe we start off by just looking at the categories in general and seeing kind of where where we see most of the stories that are crossing over. You know what I mean? But before you looked at these, did you have any expectations of what you assumed the Animorphs fanfic writers would want to write crossovers for?
I mean, not hugely. There are some things here that are not a surprise. There are some things here that kind of are a surprise. But yeah, I mean, I'll just let people know right off the bat, one of the top things here is Harry Potter, of course. And that is an expectation that I had because, it was big at the same time. But like there are some of these things where I'm just looking at like Dragon Ball Z or whatever. There's fewer of those than I might have expected.
There really aren't that many. I'll say that. The top category here, which this did surprise me.
Yes.
Is His Dark Materials, which is the Golden Compass, that trilogy, right?
I have not read it, so.
I have read the Golden Compass, but like many years ago, and I couldn't. I remember there's a big polar bear, and that's a lot of fun, but I don't have much retained from that one. But I would not have guessed. But the biggest category there, that one still only has 29 stories in it. So most of the Animorphs fan fiction isn't crossover based. And most of these categories just have one person who wrote a story in them. There are definitely some weird ones. Star Wars is like up there, still only has 6, but that was one that I assumed just because it's so popular and it's like another sci-fi thing. Star Trek only has 3.
Yeah, and that's very. I mean, maybe it's not that strange because, like, it's the more referenced one. But as we've said a lot of times, I don't know if it was super popular with kids specifically at the time.
Yeah. Now, some of these I might just have to. We might just have to go through every single one of these. I don't know. Some of them are just too good.
Yeah, and I'll give you a little bit because there were some of these where I kind of skipped them because I knew you were probably going to be more interested, but I will be kind of following along with those.
Yeah, I did that a little bit. I picked out a lot more, but a lot of these I thought were, for me, the ones I found were not as in-depth as last week, so I maybe skimmed them a little more just to see like what crazy shit did they get up to in this universe?
Yeah, I think I was mostly interested in just the shorter ones because these are just crazy. But like I'm clicking on some stuff that I hadn't looked at before, and already I'm seeing a Ninja Turtles romance story with 80,000 words. So like I'm not going to read that, but there are some in-depth ones here.
Yeah, there's also there's some weird stuff. There's a Ninja Turtles category and also a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles category.
Oh, now
So some of
that's
yeah,
yeah.
that's just fanfiction.net's system not working.
Yeah, no, I did not see that.
So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I have a bunch of tabs open that I could just start going through, and we could go through category by category with the ones that kind of some of the like again we could go back and forth again with the ones that jumped out to us, or we could kind of I don't know. How do you want to start, or
I
do you
think we
not have any plan?
I don't really have anything planned, but I think we could go category by category since there is the possibility that we would end up having some overlap.
Maybe we go through at least like the big ones,
Mhm.
and then we can kind of jump around to some of the more like the single digit ones.
Okay.
We'll kind of go roughly in order of popularity by number of stories, maybe.
Mhm.
And if I skip something, or you can interject if there's one. Like I'll tell you right now, I didn't look at any of the His Dark Materials ones because I don't have enough
Yeah.
familiarity with that series to be
Yeah, no,
interested in
same.
it. So sorry to all the Philip Pullman fan. Is that who wrote that? Something like that.
I don't know.
Uh, something like that. I don't know, but I'm sure those are all great. Actually, I'm looking at them now. This is another thing I noticed with some of mine. So okay. Just clicked on the His Dark Materials category, 29 stories. Yeah, they're all written by one person. So it's not that Animorphs fans are by and large big Golden Compass fans. There's just one prolific fanfic writer who was really into both. Is
Uh,
what that is.
Bird of Poetry is
Yes, and
their
this is a
name.
27 plus, I guess 29 part series. So that does explain that.
Yes, that would that would explain that for sure.
And I will say I found that true for not that many, but there were certainly a few others where if I saw like 5 or 6 in a category, there's a good chance it was one person who wrote at least like half of those.
Now,
Um,
now these His Dark Materials stories have an order to them. Apparently,
yeah, yeah,
I
it's a continuation.
I
Yeah.
didn't even read because they all they just have names. If I flip through the list of stories, I've got Welcome Home, Hospitality, The Tree of Life, but in their bio they've numbered all of them and then told me what Animorphs books they're associated with.
Oh wow, that's detailed.
Yeah, first one is called Make a Little Birdhouse in Your Soul.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I knew you would like that one.
All right, but but we didn't read those, so
Yeah.
we don't have anything to say about them. Now the next one is Harry Potter. Now I did, as listeners know, I'm a big Potterhead.
Hmm.
I'm a Gryffindor. I'm a member of Spew. All that stuff. I have a tattoo of Dumbledore's army on my inner thigh,
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, that makes sense.
and the other one just says Cho Chang with a heart. And
You didn't
so I
consider
don't know.
covering that one up.
No, no, no. I don't think I'm going to. Is this one of the ones that you said he'll look at this, or did you look at any of these?
I didn't look that deep into this, although you may remember last episode I brought up an AS Amalon, Alara Serenial Amalon.
Hmm.
Now she had written
Interesting.
an angry comment on one of the stories that we brought up. If you
Oh,
recall this,
which one was that? Remind me.
this is the one where in her review she said, "Do you even read
Oh,
Animorphs?"
right. She was very upset about the grammar and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Now, looking at her profile, she did write a couple of Animorphs fanfics, and one of them is an Animorphs Harry Potter crossover.
Wow. Now I looked at 3 of these, but that's not one of the ones I looked at.
Okay. I mean, honestly, this one is, I don't know if the word is interesting, but it's more, it grabs my attention more for just like the incredible level of like, yep, this is what 12-year-olds at the time typed like.
So what you're saying is maybe don't throw stones if you're in a glass house.
Is that what I'm saying? Oh yeah,
I
I think it might be yes.
right. Right. All right. Well,
I don't know if you want to go over your stories or if you want to talk a little bit about this one here.
well, if you have it up and you want to tell me about it, that's
I do
fine.
have
But
it up. It's called Jake's Strange Dream. I'm actually
okay.
looking for it on the
Was
Harry
it about
Potter.
Rachel? I think Jake's had a few strange dreams about Rachel.
Mm. No, basically this story is going to be the Animorphs characters, but they're all in the Harry Potter universe. So they just insert for character. Like Jake is just Harry now. And Jake's kind of aware the whole time. He's like, "What is this, Harry Potter?" Uh,
Okay.
but really, what gets me on this is the stuff like author's note: writing crossovers isn't really my thing, but I've just loaded up on sugar and am in the mood for a goofy crossover. Let me know what you think, and maybe I'll load up on sugar again and write more. Sugar, sugar. Alara Serenial Amelon falls to floor twitching. Muse shakes head slowly. My Andalite friend will be back soon. She just needs to recover from her sugar rush. She will be back in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, Alara. Okay, now that that's over with, on to the fic.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
There's
I love the
yeah.
mhm. Yeah.
Tell me what you love.
I just a little, you get a little. It's like when Keenan and Kel come out in front of the curtain before the show
Mm.
starts. That's what that
Mm-hmm.
is. It's that yes, a window into the 13-year-old millennial style right there.
Yes. And as I recall, oh yes, in chapter 3 in her disclaimer, and she says she doesn't own Animorphs or Harry Potter, she actively says, "Oh, if I did own them, I would have written the endings differently and then spoils some things that happens in both of those series."
Wow.
So
So
just
I'm
yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I'll steer clear of that then is what is the warning
Yeah, you
there.
can just skip these bolded parts at the beginning here.
Well, I'm going to use that as a springboard because maybe a few more like broader points about these crossover fanfics.
Mhm.
For a lot, almost all of them, or many of them that I read, did have some kind of disclaimer at the beginning that they don't own these characters, as if like was that a concern? Did they think the legal department was going to come after them for this?
Yeah, I don't
I don't
know.
know.
And I feel like there's always drama in fan fiction circles where people will be like, "That's my character and you stole it," or whatever. I think some of it is also them trying to stake their claim. Because you read a lot of these and they'll say, like, "I don't own any of the characters in this. Oh, except for Kate. I own Kate. That's
Yeah,
mine."
right. I think it was one of the ones I did. Maybe it was one with Kate last week. Said I don't own 99% of these characters. Like, did you do that math right? Yours is the one. There's just 1% is that character.
There's 100 characters in this thing?
How'd you divide this up? Yeah, all the extras in the school. I counted them. You didn't see them, but they're there.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, chapter 3
and
is really. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
can you just shut the fuck up for a minute and let
I
me talk?
can't.
I was just gonna say, I also think that by and large, maybe I'm wrong because we last week we had a pretty different smattering of selections between the two of us, but it seems like overall the writing quality for the crossover fix is worse to me.
I would agree with that 100%.
I guess there's something about the attraction there of wanting to crossover with other properties that is more of interest to maybe younger people or people who write stupider things.
Yeah, or like the whole point is that I'm trying to like wouldn't it be funny if they were together unless like I have a story to tell here.
Right. And that's and then another thing, the one you're talking about, it also seems like there's a few different categories of this where it in my mind when I'm thinking crossover fic, I'm thinking like Flintstones meet Jetsons where or
Hmm.
most like movies or TV shows when two properties cross over, Family Guy and Simpsons or whatever it is, that classic
Hmm.
example. uh there's like a justification in the plot of these characters meeting each other, and sometimes that happens in these, but sometimes it's like yours where it's just like, oh, Harry Potter just happens to be an Animorph now and they don't tell you why. It's just like it's an alternate universe thing,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Yeah. And so I've seen a couple other of these. Like what the hell was the name of that girl? It was like Evil Pixie or whatever last time wrote some story
Hmm.
where like sometimes they will write themselves in where they'll say like the fan fiction author is here and she's written these two characters into the
Yeah.
same story.
Yep. I've seen some of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll get to that. But anyway, so that's what was the one called that you're reading?
I am reading Jake's Strange Dream.
Great. I don't know if we can link all these. I'll just put the link to all the crossover ones. There's going to be too many.
I'll just throw it
Should I?
in there. There you go.
Oh, great. I'm not going to use it. Just forget about it. All right. Should I go on to other more Harry Potters here?
Well, there's just a couple. There's one thing I really want to point because chapter 3 in this is where things
Okay.
get pretty good here.
Yeah,
Uh,
please. I want it to get good.
I woke up in the hospital wing. Standing over me was a little old man, a blue old man. He definitely wasn't human, but I knew him. Elamist. Yes, it is I. Are you supposed to represent a house elf? What is Jake talking about? Elamist is a house elf. Jake must not stay at Hogwarts, he said, looking around. Elamist thought his bludger would. Your bludger? Basically, you remember with Dobby, it's the Elamist now.
Why? I don't understand.
Well, because it's like Harry Potter, but all the characters are, you know, Animorphs characters.
Okay. Okay, sure. Okay.
What?
That's the natural analog you would use.
Right. Yes. Well, there's a couple other that, like, for example, there's two Tobiases, and they're the Weasley twins. I think Axe is,
Wait, really?
yes, there's two Tobiases, and they're the Weasley twins.
That's pretty funny.
Axe is Malfoy, and people call him Isthil.
I do like some of these, like when they're deciding which character is which.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't Marco be the obvious choice for the Weasley twins?
No, Marco's Ron,
Oh, all right.
and Rachel,
But
I guess, is Hermione.
Tobias should be Hedwig.
You're right, on account of his angry inch, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. But he's just a boy still, but he just delivers the mail. He just takes the envelope from him. He just falls down the chimney. It's like, here you go. Here, come to Hogwarts.
You know, it occurs to me, it's not 100% clear to me whether these are two birds or two human Tobiases. I think
But
these
we
are
don't know
humans.
if they're using thought speech because the formatting is different.
Yeah, no, it is in quotes, but we don't know. The Tobias twins, I should say.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other highlights?
No, that's all. That's about all I really wanted to say.
All right. Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm looking at these now, and I'm like, I've already forgotten some of the finer points of some of these. It's kind of, but we're gonna figure it out together.
All right. Let's have some fun with these.
But I have several that are up here. This one I have is Harry Potter and the Two Wars, and again, this is one where Harry Potter just in this version of the story, he moves from Britain because the Uncle Vernon Dursley gets a promotion and moves to America.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as far as I can tell in this story, from what I remember, I don't know if he. I don't think like there's any magic in it. It's like Harry Potter just happens to now go to the same school as the Animorphs. He becomes one of the gang, but like the fact that he's Harry Potter, other than the fact that he has the Dursleys with him, it doesn't seem relevant to anything. I don't know. Maybe I missed something or I forgot a point here.
He doesn't use magic in this story, or
I I could be confusing this with another one that I read, but I'm looking at it now, and yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he does. Like, I don't think he even has his wand. I don't know if he's like goes to Hogwarts. He goes to high school or middle school with the Animorphs, so there's no magic. Like, he's just a guy. I mean, I guess he's still like his parents still got killed by Voldemort or whatever. Like that still happened, but everything after that, he's just a kid. I don't know. It's weird.
I'm reading these comments to try to get some sense of understanding, and all I'm getting is stuff like, was that Varen under the controls of the Veer? What will happen next? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, like here's some of this. When Harry Potter, a raven hair boy with a lighting scar in the forehead, was 7 years old, the Dursley family, his rhino of an uncle, his giraffe of an aunt, and his pig of a cousin, which he lived with since his parents' deads, moved to America, more specifically to the United States of America. Here, Harry was a lot better than he was in Britain. The reason is that American schools were more concerned for their students than schools in Britain.
It might be true.
It says like the teachers stopped his bullies. Like, this is just a happier life for Harry Potter. He just thrives in America. It just sucks in England.
Yeah, if they shove you in the broom closet, that's like child abuse here.
Right.
They do something about that.
Yeah. Over there, it's like, yeah, whatever. I gotta get some bangers and mash. I don't give a fuck.
You always get your pudding over here, even if you haven't had your meat.
Mm-hmm. That's your pudding comes first in America.
Yeah.
Now, I shouldn't be too. In the second chapter, he does say something about like being Mexican, and he says, "I hope I have good spelling and grammar." So I don't know. I guess this is like a child whose English may not be their first language, so I won't be too cruel. But in chapters like 3 and 4, I unintentionally are entirely underlined. Just the entire chapter.
Yes, I was noticing that, and it makes it very difficult to skim.
Yeah, like there's a note at the end of chapter 3. From this point on, all of this is mine until Hogwarts arrive, I think. So I just don't know why this is Harry Potter. And that's not the last time I'm going to bring that up, but okay, I'm just going to keep moving unless you have anything you want to look at or
No,
ask.
Keep going. I want to hear more about these Harry Potters.
Yeah, the other two I think I like a little better. There's one here called The Bargain. And in this one, it's all about Draco Malfoy, because everybody loves him. They're always shipping him with folks. And the Ellimist comes to Draco.
Ooh, I like this.
And this one does not have spoilers for Animorphs. It does have spoilers for Harry Potter, but
that's fine. Whatever, fuck it.
The Ellimist, it takes place like during book 6, I'd say, and of Harry Potter, not Animorphs. The Ellimist makes a deal with Draco and says, you need to come help the Animorphs fight the Yeerks. Now, why does he choose Draco Malfoy? Why not like any wizard or an adult wizard? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But Draco just appears out of nowhere by magic, and this time it's Ellimist magic.
Mm-hmm.
And the Animorphs are like, oh, we need to, I guess, make you a new Animorph, but they're kind of suspicious and they're kind of like, this guy's a dick. And they decide to pretend that he's Rachel's friend, or maybe he's Rachel's cousin. Marco says, what's the matter with him staying at Xena's house? I mean, they're perfect for each other. Blonde, pale, and with just a hint of anger issues. So there's definitely some Rachel Draco shipping going on here. Because, they're both blonde. So
no, that makes sense. And they're both cool. People like them. Now, I'm like something, I'm skimming this. I'm seeing a couple of these phrasings. I like Malfoy apparently gets shot out of the sky into the Animorphs, and as he comes out, the Elemist says, "Oh, Animorphs, I have something for you."
I do. That really is leading into like Elemist as Q from Star Trek.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. And
hey
then,
guys.
of course, Draco's like, "Blimey, that bird just talked." It's very good.
Yeah, a couple more things. He refers to, he calls Rachel a mudblood muggle. Which I don't think makes sense, because I think mudblood, to be a
Yeah,
mudblood you'd have to be
yeah,
half wizard. She's just a muggle.
yeah. But
But whatever, he's
to be
racist.
fair, yeah, I was gonna say, like, if go to like a if you're a true gamer, you'll know that you can just kind of throw any two slurs together, and it doesn't matter if they
Right.
fit.
You're right. That's a good point. And then yeah, there's some stuff about like Rachel's sister meets Draco, and she's like, "Oh, is your boyfriend?" And they're like, "I'm not dating him." It's the characterization of Malfoy is very weird, because like he's a kind of a dick, but in the books of Harry Potter at this point, Malfoy's not just a dick. Like he's pretty much just a villain.
Yeah,
But the fans are like, he's cute, so they want to humanize him or whatever.
right. No, 100%.
But it's not until, so there's 6 chapters of this. It doesn't conclude. It's like kind of on a cliffhanger, never got finished. Not even a cliffhanger. It's just it just ends. And like right then is when I think he takes out his wand, but like that's it. Like there's like 5 chapters of just Draco trying to fit in at Rachel's house, and he never uses magic or does anything. So it's like the things that I would think you would want to see in a Harry Potter Animorphs crossover. This is not what people seem to be interested in.
Yeah, no, well, because what you are not looking at this and saying, Rachel's cool. She's a badass chick. That's who I want to be. And Draco, he's so dreamy and cute. What if they hooked up? Oh man. That's what these people want to see. And you just,
Yeah. I'm like, I like, wouldn't it be cool if Marco had a wand? you know? What if Visser 3 learned the killing curse?
Whoa. That could be
God,
kind of scary.
I should be writing these.
You should be writing these. These would be great.
Also, that's the same question as saying, what if Visser 3 just had a gun? It's the same thing, basically.
Yeah, he's got Drake on V. He doesn't use them because he'd rather. Maybe he would transmogrify himself into a giant monster as opposed to morphing. Then he wouldn't have to acquire the monsters.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, I love, there's a note on this one on chapter 6. The reason I don't allow PMs are because my mom would kill me. Lol, I'm not even supposed to be sending them. Anyway. This is from 2010, by the way. My last one was 2009, so these are, only 15 years old.
That's actually shocking that this is that new.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess, when did Harry Potter end? It was was it over? Yeah, it was probably over by this. But I was trying to think, maybe, or the movies were still coming out. Like maybe
Yeah, the
Harry
movies
Potter was
were.
popular enough that people were like doing the crossover from that end versus from the Animorphs end or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I had one more Harry Potter one, and this one I liked the device of it, which is basically Chapman gets sent to Hogwarts now that the Yeerks have, I don't know, I'm not sure if the concept here is they've taken over the Earth or something, but the Yeerks are starting a new initiative. Now they're going to go after the wizarding world in addition to the human world. So like that's been going on this whole time in the background.
Right.
And so Chapman is the new teacher of defense against the dark arts at Hogwarts.
Oh man, that sounds really good. What is this one called?
This is called The Yeerk Invasion of Hogwarts by a Shiny Snicket. I forgot to be saying the titles, the names, but they haven't been that interesting. You can look them up. And this is from 2012, so even more recent. And there's this whole thing where, Dumbledore's interviewing Chapman for the job, and he's like, I'm pretty sure he's on the level, but there's something off about him I can't quite detect. can't figure out there's a Yeerk in his head. That's beyond magic power.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And I did. There's a part where the best part of this is when Chapman is teaching the class how to repel a boggart, which for non-Potterheads it turns into whatever your worst fear is. And Chapman is careless, and his boggart turns into an Antarian bog.
Ooh, uh-oh. Not a Vanarps?
Yeah, and when he uses, that's a good point. And when he uses ridiculous on it, it turns back into an Andalite, like as if it were Visser 3 morphing. And so he's like, "Oh fuck, these kids just saw two aliens they aren't supposed to know exist."
That's pretty good, but the whole point of the ridiculous spell was it ended up being silly. I don't think Visser 3 is silly in his Andalite form, personally.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't say he really does anything that silly. So,
it should get like a flower hat.
I think Chapman's Yeerk just can't conceive of silliness.
That's probably true, yeah.
Oh, and also Melissa is in this story too.
Ooh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, she's at Hogwarts in this, and she's a Hufflepuff.
That makes sense.
I think she's still not a Yeerk in this one. Anyway, the idea is he's like going to build a Yeerk pool in Hogwarts. I don't know. It only got 2 chapters, didn't get very far, but I like this one the best because it's. That's another angle that I appreciate is just like what if Yeerks in another setting.
Yeah. Would you ink out the new offense eater? Ron scoffed as tiny pieces of sausage flew out of his mouth. Honestly, Ronald, Hermione scolded, swallow your food before you speak.
Yeah, I didn't like that part because Hermione never calls him Ronald. Like, what is that?
That's true,
That's never happens. Come on. Did you even read Harry Potter? Shiny Snicket?
I apologize to everyone who has to listen to us talk about Harry Potter right now.
Get ready for my review. I'm going to tear you apart. There is a comment from 2020 where someone said, "What happens next?" We'll never know.
That's quite good. Now, this Shiny Snicket person, I'm reading their bio, and so this bio was written in 2013, but they say in it, my main project at the moment is called A Filthy Rat. It is an AU story in which Peter Pettigrew raises Harry Potter out of remorse. However, Harry does not yet know that it was Peter who betrayed his parents.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this guy's got some stories.
That is good. I know, I like this. That's from 2013 as well. Yeah.
I guess he finished it. Yeah, I see it here. It's 40,000 words.
Hey, it's a good read. I'm gonna read that soon. I also didn't mention that Chapman also starts the sharing club at Hogwarts, of course. So.
Oh man.
I mean, I don't know. I would read a full series of the Yeerks taking over Hogwarts. I think that's pretty good. Well, that's me. So yeah, I don't know.
The author. Now the real question here is: would the author allow trans kids at Hogwarts? Because
this particular fanfic author.
Well, I just mean since you're doing a blending, right? You've got K. Applegate on the one side and J.K. Rowling on the other side, and I feel like this would be a fight between the two series.
I think, yeah, it's tough. It's a tough thing to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, since it didn't get finished, I guess the listeners can kind of imagine it, whichever one they side with.
Okay, that makes sense.
There's good people on both sides.
Right. Please don't stop listening to our podcast just because you disagree with it. You should tell everyone that we agree with you personally and that you should listen to us.
Yeah, well, one of us does agree with you, the other one doesn't. We're not going to say who on which side.
And one of us always speaks in lies and the other always tells the truth. So.
All right, so what you want to tell me? I'm sure you must have looked at some Pokemon fics.
I did look at a couple.
Because I kind of skipped these and said, he'll know which ones are the good ones, maybe. I didn't really look.
Yeah, I could have looked at more of these. The one that really... There's a lot of these in this Pokemorphs series. Like, a lot of them. I did not get that far in it because it's like 100,000 words worth in total.
Wordsworth?
but you've got Pokemorphs 1, the Mew, then the Limit, then the Search, then the Gang, then the Attack, then the Arrival. Um, so
Oh, I
I
see.
yeah,
There's another. Sorry, there's one. There's a standalone Pokemorphs also, and then there's the series Pokemorphs by a different author.
yeah, and that standalone is a totally different thing.
I mean, these Pokemorphs ones, we got to say, they did covers with the
Yeah,
like the morphing style covers of Pokemon morphing into other Pokemon.
yeah, and this here we've got. So these were posted here in 2013, but in the little intro, the person says that they wrote them in 1999, and they're archiving them here. Um, they
Spirit Wolf.
Spirit Wolf says this is a series I wrote under the username Rachel, aka Rach01, on the now defunct Pokemorphs website. So
Wow.
I almost wonder if the Wayback Machine has a Pokemorphs section here,
God damn.
because that would be kind of awesome,
Yeah, I would want to find that.
but it
I
might
mean,
be difficult.
in this, I'll just say for listeners, in this story, Mew is the Elfangor.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the Animorphs come across Mew, who gives them the Pokemon morphing powers.
Right. So in this one, the Team Rocket combines Weedles and Caterpies to make Weedle peas. And these are the Yerks because they're slug-like, I guess.
Oh, these are long. There's a lot of these.
Oh yeah, no, I did not get that far in these because there's a lot
These
of
are
them.
multiple chapters.
Oh yeah, no, these are all of these are like, yeah, these are between 5 and 10,000 words apiece, and there's at least 6 of them. So there's, yeah, but I what I like about it is that these feel old school. And I love these covers. I love that the covers have little. So, for example, in number 1, the Mew, it's got a little quote that says, "Rachel's going a little red," and she's turning into a Charmander on it.
God, I mean, that is really good, but there's
Yeah.
only 3 dots, so I take issue with that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Very strong, like paint shop pro energy on this edit. This is
Yeah, that's a little too advanced for me personally.
Yeah, I know. So is the idea here this takes place? It's like the world of Pokemon, and the Animorphs just takes place in it. Here's what I take issue with in this story is it says they're at Pokemon College.
Yeah.
It says they enter Pokemon College at 14 or 15 to become a Pokemon trainer. That's just not at all how any canon of Pokemon works.
Right. No, it has to be Pokemon College because, they wanted the characters to be the same age as the Animorphs, and that puts them at like the 14 years old, 15 years old, whatever. But like, as everyone knows, you come of age at 10 in the Pokemon universe. Like, that's the
Yeah.
age when you can own a house or do your taxes or go to prison or whatever.
Or I could think of some other things.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't though. But everybody knows this.
Like drive a
so
car.
they have to be in college, right? Because you'd go to college after you turn 18. So that's why.
I just skipped to book number 6 and they're still talking about weeder peas. Like,
Right,
what
the weeder peas are the Yerks.
Oh, I just got that.
Right, because they're slug-like. They take over the other Pokemon. Including,
One
by
of
the way,
them is
Mewtwo.
named Boris.
Yeah, no, the characters are. I don't know what's up with this Rachel thing because nobody else is named after. It's like Skipper and yeah, Blitz.
Rachel, Lisa, Michael, Bounce, Blitz, and Boris.
Yes, I think Blitz and Bounce are Mews, meaning Andalites, and they have. Let's see if I can get their names here because they're kind of dumb. Well, whatever. The point is that they are given this ability to turn into Pokemon by use of the Ditto device. You see.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
good.
right. Yeah, they wouldn't want to. Yeah, and and
A
as I
lot of these
recall,
just are parodies. They just devolve into like dumb spoof shit.
right. Yeah, and it's worth noting that the Weeder peas, they don't have Candrona rays, but they do have another weakness, which is that in order to infest. Okay, I'll read this here. Okay. Before a Pokemon can be infested, a special Drac must be made. Dracs are special genes which are injected into Pokemon. Without a Drac, a Pokemon cannot be infested. Rattatas, Spearows, Scythers, every species of Pokemon needs a different Drac. They take a long time to manufacture and design, though. The only Pokemon we know they have Dracs for so far are Scythers, Pincers, and Mewtwo. So this is from the opening chapters here.
I think my heart stopped while
They
you were reading that.
they need you see they need Drax. They have to make a new so like they can infest Scythers because they have Drax for Scythers, but if they wanted to infest a Rattata, they'd need to make a Rattata Drac.
No. All right, I'm ready to move on from Pokemon.
I think that's reasonable. I mean the top one on here is the more serious fic, which in some ways is funnier to me. This is mastered by Zen Color. Um, and the description is after becoming stuck in the body of an Umbreon, Sim has a lot to reconsider. How can he still be himself when he's got four paws? Is it even possible after being thrust onto somebody as their pet? Whether a human or Pokemon, life is full of restraints, and Sim might have to accept his new role fighting the Yerks whether he likes it or not.
This was published in 2020.
Yeah, it was.
I think that's the most recent one we've looked at so far.
Yeah. I mean, this is basically
This is
it's
pet
very
fetish shit.
yeah, it's funny because it doesn't read like fetish shit if you just took like a paragraph or two, but then you look at the length and the seriousness with which it's written. I mean, maybe it's not fetish, maybe it's more like otherkin shit. But
Hmm.
like this is a person who wants to be an Umbreon for sure, like 100%.
Who wouldn't? They're so sleek and beautiful.
Oh yeah, look at those ears. But yeah, he becomes his friend Fleur's pet or Pokemon.
Delacour?
That's a good question. But yeah, Fleur has apparently gets her starter Pokemon assigned to her, and it's Sim, the Umbreon. But fortunately, Umbreon can smell Yerks, so he can still be helpful.
Oh, this one's long too.
It sure is, yeah. There's a number of these that are fairly long, but yeah. As I said, this is somebody who wants to be an Umbreon, and I feel like there were a couple in here. I mean, most every single one of these was about being able to turn into Pokemon. Like, there's not,
Hmm. I mean,
sometimes it's like, oh, May and Ash and Dawn can do it, but it's
right.
never just like Pikachu's here to fight with the Animorphs. It's like no, I want to turn into the Pikachu.
I mean, that does make sense. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Hmm.
you think how much fun it is to turn into an animal. Well, like if
Hmm.
Animorphs were with Pokemon, then you could turn into a Pokemon. It's like you can kind of have the exact same concepts, just with instead of a tiger, he's a fucking Persian or something, right?
Hmm.
Like it kind of works.
Yeah, I mean, now here's the real fun is that Pokemon are kind of sentient, like canonically.
Cassie
So
would not like this.
she would not like this, but it also opens up the door for Pokemon to turn into people, which this is probably where the real
Oh.
fetish stuff is. And I have a feeling that this might be shielded behind some kind of like filter.
Yeah, this is there's too many layers here for me to go into that. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
weird.
the Pokemon fandom is one of the most disgustingly horny. It's not as bad as Sonic, but it's pretty bad. And at least sometimes the Sonic fandom is like funny in the ways that it's horny. Pokemon just like, okay, we all get it, the Vaporeon meme, but like people are serious about this.
All the listeners just now, of course, nodded along. The Vaporeon meme. It's not weird that we know about wanting to fuck a Vaporeon. Everyone knows.
Yeah, no, that's normal. That's totally reasonable. Everyone knows about like the waifu Gardevoir, right? Just people know about this stuff. This is normal.
I know. I love Reshiram.
Oh, I love Reshiram too. I have a feeling people don't know about Reshiram, but Google it.
All right. So there's a lot of fun to be had with Pokemon. Okay. Now, some of the ones categories here that I personally skipped over: Doctor Who, Percy Jackson. I did kind of glance. There's a Power Rangers, but nothing really jumped out at me as particularly interesting, so I didn't click on any of those.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Phantom. Is this the one where it's like one person? Like I no, it's not.
I never saw Danny Phantom.
That was like right outside my like. I just was a little beyond Nickelodeon. Like if it came out a year or two earlier, I probably would have been into it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm surprised that has as big a following as only 8 stories, but still. Ninja Turtles. I did look at. This was another one where I thought there was like a few just by the same person. But there was one that I picked out that I'm trying to find now. I don't know if you looked at any Ninja Turtles.
You're a much bigger Ninja Turtles fan than I am.
That's saying something.
Oh, is it? I thought you were a big Ninja Turtles fan.
Well, I am a big Ninja Turtles fan, but I'm not like, I'm not someone who's like, oh, I've read all the comics and I know all the lore. I'd say I'm like for most people, I'm probably a pretty surface level Ninja Turtles fan. I like the movies and the video games and stuff like that. Now I can't find. This is the problem is I had these open in tabs and they're not in the same order. I guess I'll just click on Ninja Turtles. I don't know why yes. Okay. So there's 7 Ninja Turtles fanfics. 6 of them are by the same person.
Lil Maniac. Oh, I didn't I say something about Lil Maniac? They commented on something.
Oh, did they? I do.
Yeah, I remember this name from last time.
Well, they've written a number of Ninja Turtles and other fanfics as well. Some crossovers, some Dragon Ball Z, a lot of Animorphs.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is interesting because it's, I assume, a self-insert character, Jade, who is an Animorph, but they get sent to New York City because apparently the Yeerks are like planning something there.
This is the one that's 80,000 words long. Yes,
that's right. This is part 1. There's a lot of chapters. I did not read all these chapters. But it starts out with her like in the city and she gets mugged by just a regular gang, and then the Ninja Turtles save her and she's like, what happened? Was that you, Jake? And he's like, no, there must be some vigilantes out here. I don't know. I'm not reading all this shit, but I do wonder if at some point someone gets to morph into a Ninja Turtle. I don't know. I don't know what else you do if the Animorphs meet the Ninja Turtles. Like, what else is the hook there? Does Splinter get a Yeerk in his head? I don't know. You gotta. I feel like when you're doing an Animorphs crossover, for it to be worth doing, to me, it's one of two things. Either the Animorphs are morphing into whatever the universe is, or a Yeerk is going into whatever the universe is. Otherwise, I don't know why you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, can't you just do like an extended barn scene, where like they have to like morph rats to go down into the sewers to escape Visser 3, and then they're like, what the heck is this place? It's like a lounge with like pizza, and then you just write 10,000 words about them hanging out and bantering with the turtles. Like, I think you could write that.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, then you could all just be like, hey, the turtles helped us fight Visser 3. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, I guess. I don't know. Raphael and Rachel got along because they're both angry. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if you could give them the morphing tech,
Axe and Donatello know about computers.
They could, they could. Well, you've got a good point here that they all match up.
Leonardo is the leader. It's like Jake. Okay, I'm done.
No, keep going.
Splinter's like Elfangor.
Well, he's dead, though.
Well, what are you going to do? They
I guess.
can't all be 1-to-1.
Uh, but you could also, they could get the morphing tech, and then you could have turtles going around as, like, instead of putting on their trench coats, they could just turn into people, you know?
They could turn into turtles. Like regular
Or they
turtles.
could turn into regular turtles. I'm
That
not
could
sure where
be
you're going with this idea.
I don't know. It'd be nostalgic for them. It'd be funny.
Be funny. Okay, sure.
Visser 3 is Shredder, though, for sure.
Oh, yeah. No, he's got to be. Or he fights Shredder. Right?
Well, I
Like
just
the two
mean
of
like,
them,
yeah.
they,
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they
Oh,
fulfill
yeah.
the same role, so maybe they step on each other's.
They would work. They'd be working together, but one of them would betray the other.
Chapter
And that's where their plan would
4
go awry.
on this fix is written to the song You and Me by Lifehouse. Feel free to listen as you read.
I will. Thank you for your permission.
Hmm.
All right. Let's get the next one is a big one, right? The next up we have Star Wars.
Yeah. Next up, we do have Star Wars.
So I have two that I picked out, one of which I assume you looked at. Where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, there's one thing you might notice. Well, no, let's start at this one that we looked at, which is Gungan morphing.
One word, Gungan morphing.
Gungan morphing. A super quick one-off back when I was obsessed with Animorphs and Gungans. This is how I imagine it would be like to morph into a Gungan, lol.
This is written by Ankesanaman.
Written in
Ankesanaman.
2021, or published in 2021, so presumably this was like written a long time ago and uploaded.
Back when I was obsessed with Animorphs and Gungans, like 2 years ago.
I concentrated, holding the picture of the Gungan in my mind. I do that a lot.
Yep, like the Jubba Jubba.
Yes, like the Jubba Jubba. This is mostly just a long morphing
Oh, I thought you were going to keep going.
I mean, do you want...
There's not even... We don't know whose perspective this is.
Yeah.
It's literally just the first-person description of morphing into a Gungan.
Now, they do say they grinned, going to say something to my awestruck audience, but suddenly my neck extended. I don't know who their awestruck audience is.
Oh, maybe this is an Estreen.
Oh, yeah, it could be an Estreen.
Who visited Naboo to give the Andalites back home a show.
Yeah. My tongue being pulled down the back of my throat, stretched like an elastic band. It simply lolled from my mouth like that of a dog's tongue.
Now, is this one fetish shit? I don't know. It doesn't really read as sexual to me, but it's so, like, why else would you write this?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like this should be written in Gungese, right?
That's there's none of that, which maybe is for the best.
Yeah, like instead of I grinned, it should say like Misa smiling and grinning.
It should, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's very it's brief. This one is very strange to me. I mean, obviously, but just what is this?
Yeah, I wonder what Boss Nass would have to say about this.
Whoa, you are looking like us now. Woo, cinnamon buns.
Jaw, you shall no be eating these cinnamon buns.
Hey, come back here. You gotta pay for those cinnamon buns with dollars. Dollars?
Oh, muy. Excuse me.
Okay. So that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to love anything that has Gungans in it.
It's so funny they're obsessed with just Gungans. Not like Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Just Gungans. Okay. Now, the other one that I liked was called The Prince. Did you see this one?
I don't see this one here. Oh, no, I do see this one. I'm sorry. So you might notice on the main page that 4 of these 6 stories here are written by the same person, Ember Nickel. The Prince is
Okay.
one of them.
Okay.
And all of them, from what I
Are they
recall,
connected?
I don't think the ones that I read all seemed to be rewrites of Animorphs, but
Yes.
with Star Wars characters. I'm not sure this is all of them, but
Right.
it is multiple of them.
And I've seen that, I think, at least one other place that we'll get to, maybe. I don't remember where. But yes, it is pretty much straight up. It's like this one, The Prince, is book 4, The Message, just except instead of Jake, it's Leia. And this was, I thought, was interesting. I don't know how you would, decide these character analogs. Like, my instinct would be, oh, I guess Jake is Luke, but I kind of liked their take on it. Where I'm actually not sure who is who. I guess
Yeah.
maybe Marco is Lando. I don't. The group is Luke, Leia, Han, and Lando, and Obi-Wan was Elfangor.
Yes, Obi-Wan
And
Kenobi Ben Ace.
yeah, they gave him a. He had to have a third name, so they just took Ben and added an. I don't know what the Ace part is.
Yeah. Yeah, they do seem to. I mean, it seems like it's not. There aren't quite analogs exactly. Luke might be Tobias because he's always kind of dorky,
Well,
but
I
it.
thought Luke is Rachel, because if Leia is Jake, that's the relationship. Like, instead of
Mm,
cousins, they're brother and sister.
yeah, I'm just trying to think in these stories, but it feels like in these stories it's not direct. It's more like they sort of embody that, but they're sort of just I don't know themselves. Well, I don't know
Well,
if
here's
themselves is right.
Visser 3 is Darth 3.
Yeah, Darth
They worked,
3, the one
they
who killed
really
and
worked
ate
hard on
Obi
that.
Wan.
Yeah, that's right. And then so they, of course, they go under the ocean and they find the dome ship, but instead of Axe, it's a female Andalite. And her name is, oh god, where's her full name? I know what it's based off, but I can't find the full one. Oh, here it is. Jin Halleck Oblen. Now, I don't know what the fuck the last two are, but
Yeah,
Jin is Rogue One, of course.
yeah, no, Jyn Erso, and Jyn Erso recurs in other stories, like
Mm.
in the refuge. Jyn Erso is one of the like big players here.
And what's good about this, what makes this really come together, is she, of course, wants to call Leia Prince Leia. So
Right,
that's the fun little
right,
thing
yeah, it's
there.
Princess Leia. Yeah,
So this is so weird to me because it's relatively well written. Um, but it's like it really is just a retelling of the same book with Star Wars characters. Like,
yeah.
to me, this is so boring to write this. I don't understand the impetus to do this.
No, I understand where you're coming from, and it must be even more upsetting to you that the refuge here is the secret, basically.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it is upsetting to me. I
yeah.
do like they are from different perspectives, each one.
Yeah. Now they also have Chirrut and Baze, who I think are both Rogue One people, but I don't really remember.
Chira definitely is. I don't remember Baze, but I
Hmm.
guess maybe that's the forces with me guy and the other guy. I don't remember. The one thing I don't remember about Rogue One is any of their names.
Yeah, that's a great sign for the quality of that
besides
movie.
besides the one who had a show, so they named it after him. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, and like I said, this seems to be a common thing where the people will kind of just make the characters analogs instead of really. It's almost not even a crossover, but like, by definition of the term, nothing is crossing over.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a, I don't know. It's just a different thing. Anyway,
Yeah. No, I feel yeah, because like also just scrolling through some of these, I see bits here like I think Einstein said something about time being relative. For instance, when you're fighting for your life in the bottom of a York pool and only have 2 hours to get out of there before you're trapped as a leopard forever, an hour is really short. When you're stuck in a boring algebra class, an hour is really, really long. That line, I think Einstein said something about time being relative, is like that's a thing. That opened a chapter at some point in the Animorphs history. Like that is just ripped straight out of
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
some of this stuff is just like, ooh, what if I just change the names in this bit? It's
Right.
so strange. I agree with you.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, I guess it's maybe an interesting exercise as a writer to do that. I don't know.
Is it? I mean, it was for Ember Nickel.
Yeah, I mean, it's a way to like, you practice. It's kind of like writing a spec script for a TV show or something. You kind of like get into the. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going. Okay, author. I'm on the author page. Author has written 392 stories for Animorphs, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Marching Band, Ski Free, X Overs, Mist
Ski
slash Riven,
free.
Giver, Orson Scott Card, Monty Python, Numbers, Minesweeper, Wicked, Tom
What?
Stoppard, Pendragon, Wheel of Time,
No, no, no.
Miscellaneous, Plays Musical, Inception, Les Miserables, Discworld,
Oh, that's on here.
Revolution, A Wrinkle of Time, A Wrinkle in Time trilogy, Mistborn, Chess, Battle Royale, Redwall, Bible, Gallivant, FTL, Pitch, Prestige, Blade
He's
Runner,
having a stroke.
Stranger Things, 2016 Hamilton, Series of Unfortunate Events, Martian, Andy Weir, Greek Mythology, Among Us, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, Dune, Squid Game, and Chronicles of Narnia.
I'm pretty sure I saw this person at our school Renaissance fair.
You're probably right. This is insane.
How you can't write a fan fiction for Minesweeper or Ski Free? Shut the fuck up. What does the skier have a
Fucking
romance with the
crazy.
Yeti?
Yeah, I don't. What the fuck?
All right, we got to move on. This episode is gonna be so long.
I think it'll be fine.
We could probably do 2 parts on this, but we're just gonna keep moving. Did you
No, no.
do any Artemis Fowls? I didn't look at that one.
Not really. Some of these I also skipped because I was like, I don't know how aware of them you are.
I mean, I'm aware. I read the first few Artemis Fowls back in the day,
Okay,
but
okay.
I just didn't look at it.
Yeah, I didn't really read through any here. I don't know.
I thought you were a bigger Artemis Fowl head than me, so
I
that was
probably was, but I don't really remember that well.
well. There's a few of those there. If anyone cares, they're there. We didn't read them. The next one I looked at was, of course, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few of these that I picked out. The first one I just liked because it's I probably brought it up in the episode, but it's what I thought of in the David trilogy. It's called "I Smell a Rat" by
Mm-hmm.
Coalition Girl, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hardly even a story. It's like one paragraph, basically the equivalent of sentences, and it's the fact that, well, in Animorphs, spoilers. I don't know if we have to say that because maybe it's a special episode. People aren't
No,
caught
no.
up.
If you are listening to the show out of order, you deserve what you get.
You're right. Uh, David turns into a rat, and on Buffy, there's a character named Amy who turns into a rat. Also, minor spoilers. I'm sorry. And then in this, they meet each other, and that's literally all that happens.
Yeah.
But they didn't have anything planned out more than that.
Yeah. I'm Amy. David. That's about the yeah.
Except I think she's a human in this story. It's confusing. But I guess she's just rat-like, or does she turn? I don't remember the story. Does she turn into a rat before she's stuck as a rat in the show? I don't remember. But yeah. So I'm like, hey, somebody else had the same dumb brain connection I did, so that's fine.
It feels like this is more of a tweet than a fanfic.
Yes, really. It doesn't. There's not much to it. Now, there's a little more to these other ones. There's one here called "No Choice" by Jazzin Prowl's Sparkling Aria Fire.
Yeah, now this person has written the majority of the Buffy fics here.
Yeah, this person's a big Buffy fan.
Oh boy, I'm on this Oh my god. Oh boy. I'm an avid, obsessive Transformers fangirl. I'm an Animorph otaku as well. She
Mm.
also says yaoi rules. All yaoi fangirls are joined together by an invisible and unbreakable bond.
That's my kind of person.
Yeah, so here, this is sure somebody.
I'm gonna say this one. There's not much to this story, to be honest. It's another pretty short one, but I sort of like the premise of it, which is that Cassie is chosen as the Slayer, or
Mm.
a Slayer at least. Again, this there may be spoilers in this for Buffy, but I don't know, like that's kind of a fun, if you're gonna do a Buffy crossover, I think that's fun to, and I actually like the twist because the obvious choice would be Rachel, but maybe it's more interesting to, if Cassie has to deal with being a Slayer. What, she's probably has all kinds of fucking moral qualms about killing vampires.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But again, this story really doesn't, it's like an introduction, it doesn't really go anywhere. The last one I looked at here is called The Unforeseen. And this one is law. I did not read
Oh
all of
yeah,
this one.
this is a long one.
This is a serious one. It's multiple chapters, 67,000 words. Um, and the premise of this, again, this is just like the Star Wars one. They basically just rewrote a bunch of books. However, they inserted the character of Dawn from Buffy, and it's just all like Buffy stuff is still happening, but during season 6 of Buffy, Dawn moves to wherever the Animorphs live. Who knows? We'll never know. And she's now part of the gang. And also, it's like, oh, and also we have to kind of make sure the Yerks don't find out about vampires and witches because they might want to use it for bad things. But other than that, like, Dawn doesn't really have powers or anything. Maybe she kind of does, but not like at this point. She's not slaying anyone or casting spells. So she's kind of just another Animorph for all intents and purposes until later on, like Spike shows up and there is some more Buffy stuff going on. There's also clearly the author of this is into Spike and is kind of creating this kind of a creepy relationship between these two characters, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds creepy.
But but hey, what isn't creepy when it comes to vampire relationships? But yeah, it's long, it's in depth, it's like it's one of the better written ones, but it's another one of these where it's just like, what if someone else was there and the same
Yeah.
kind of shit happened?
Yeah, only it's so much of it. Like looking at it, it's like there's a reason it's this, because that length makes it 3 times as long as the average Animorphs book. um, and the reason for that is that it does appear that every chapter is another book, right? Like they just like chapter 1
Yeah.
they did the message, chapter 2 they did the capture,
That's right.
and so on and so forth.
Chapter 7 and 8 are forgotten part 1 and 2. It's pretty good stuff.
Uh,
All right.
it's
So
so
that was the
strange to
Buffy
me
ones.
because yeah, like when I look at the comments on this, there's so many people saying like, "Oh, I'm really glad you updated and the story isn't dead," or "Oh, I'm so sad that this stopped. I was hoping to see what would happen." And it's like if they're rewriting the books, I don't know, man. I don't know that I'm feeling this excitement.
Yeah. Well, they're desperate. They want content.
Yeah.
They love what they love. No one else is writing this.
No one else is writing this.
Feel free to let me know if I'm skipping something or if there's something you want to get to. But the next big one to me is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of these.
Notably, there is no James Cameron's Avatar, which is, I think, that's a huge missed
I know.
opportunity.
I really was hoping for some James Cameron's Avatar, but didn't see it.
The one that I picked out from here is called The Gang, spelled with, of course, with 2 A's, like Ang. And again, this is one that's like, I just find it so funny. The premises they come up with is, in a million years, I wouldn't imagine that's what you would do with these two franchises. In this story, And sorry for anyone who's like not familiar with these properties because we're not going to sum them up for you. If you don't know about The Last Airbender,
Yeah, get
you'll just
over
have
it.
to Google it. But in this one, Sokka and Zuko are Animorphs,
Hmm.
and they're on a stakeout, I guess, of Yerks. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's very unclear to me what exactly what universe does this take place in. It's a combination of the two, kind of. And in this one, Zuko's dad, instead of being the Fire Lord, it like just has a Yerk in him, and he's like a powerful Yerk. And they or maybe not, he's not sure, but Azula, his sister, does have a Yerk, and they're both hawks or birds of some kind on this stakeout. And there's of course some slash fiction romance stuff between the two of them in this story.
Right, yeah.
But there's
I
there's nothing, like, they don't bend. Like, why is it Sokka and like, why? I
Because they
don't
like them.
understand.
They like
Why?
them. I mean, it makes me wonder if somebody was just saying, "Oh, Jake has a evil brother, and Zuko has a evil sister." So it's kind of like the same. You get
But it is.
the same thing going on here. Listen, some people just care more about the characters than they care about the world and the lore.
I guess. I guess.
They just want to pick up their little Sokka doll and their little Zuko doll and smash them
But then,
together.
but then, why does he have to be a bird? I don't understand.
You telling
You
me you
could just.
don't?
There could just be a story where they're like hanging out. They don't have to also be morphing into birds. It's what
Well,
what what is wrong with people? What did we do wrong as a society
well,
to make people turn out this way?
Grizzla says, "Lol, how did you cross two of my favorite things and make it seem so right? You are just on top of your game. I don't even read Animorph fic, but this was gold. I like how you had them cuddle like birds instead of trying to make the bird bodies human cuddle."
I should say
Oh,
this is written by. Yeah, I'll go ahead.
it continues. Maybe Katara or Toph. Toph is Cassie, right? Find an abandoned egg and Sokka and Zuko have to hatch it together? Hint, hint, hint.
Toph is clearly Rachel.
Yeah, no, I don't. Toph is not Cassie. That does not make sense. But I like that this
um,
person's getting a little hyped up about Zuko and Sokka hatching an egg.
yeah, that's hot. Sorry, I'm on this train now. I think Aang is Axe. You know, like, I think the obvious thing is to say he's Jake, but I think he's really Axe.
Because he's like a weirdo.
Well, he's like the alien they find frozen in ice, basically.
That's true.
It's
Frozen in
the
the
same.
dome ship.
Yeah, and he's a little goofy. And Marco's obviously Sokka, and Rachel and Cassie is Katara. All
Yeah.
right.
I mean, okay, Shadow Wasserson is on your side. They say, well written, but other than the names, I didn't see the connection with Avatar at all. Sorry, but Sokka didn't really seem like Sokka, nor Zuko like Zuka. A common fault in modern AUs. I would
I
have
will
liked
say,
to see
yeah.
what if the Yeerks attacked the Avatar world fic. That would have been cool. A neat blend of sci-fi and fantasy,
That's what I'm
morphing into
talking about.
dragons and sky bison, while the Yeerks
Hell
discover
yeah.
the power of
Yes!
bending. Just a
Oh my
thought.
god. I'd love to morph into a sky bison.
Yeah.
Platypus bear morph?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad that it's backed up by someone who's read fics, because I also noticed several of these where it's like the characters don't talk like the characters. Like, why'd you even pick that character if you're not gonna, like, why isn't Sokka telling jokes? It could, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Also, yeah, I was gonna say this one's written by Avocado Love. And in the beginning, they say it was written as a challenge using these prompts: Sokka/Zuko, Animorphs, cross-species cuddling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not their fault. They had to do these things.
They had to, yeah.
Were there any other Avatar ones you liked?
No, I'm going. I shouldn't have access to my computer while I'm doing this because I'm going down some rabbit holes now.
Okay, what on the list now? What's the next one that you looked at?
I mean, I skipped over a couple here. I looked at some Dragon Ball Z, couldn't help myself, but the only one that I'm seeing here, um, is well,
Oh yeah, is it because they filter out the M-rated ones? You gotta
oh,
click to
I
see
see
the
what's going
M-rated
on.
ones.
Yeah, because mostly there was just one that had so many crossovers that I was seeing it everywhere. Because I didn't even see it from DBZ first. Did you read A Dream Becomes a Reality?
No, I actually did not look at the DBZ ones at all. So,
Well, this one I did not find in DBZ. This one I found originally in Angry Beavers.
oh
But it
well,
crosses
this one I
over
saw, but I thought
everything.
you said this one had a lot of spoilers in it or something.
Did it?
I thought that's what you said because I think I looked at that, but then I purposefully didn't actually read it after the fact.
Oh.
But yeah, there's a weird one that yes, it has Angry Beavers, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, and Power
Yeah,
Rangers.
this one I don't think has spoilers in it. It might have been some other one. There might have been some crossed
Mm,
wires here.
okay, maybe I misread.
Yeah, now this one
Uh,
also does have a named bully. We talked
oh
last
yeah,
time about a fic with a named bully.
you did say, quote, this is in our messages. This self-insert Angry Beavers one seems like it might have end of series spoilers.
Oh, maybe it did. Oh God, see, I don't even. This is the problem with this is that
Might have
there
been a
is
different one.
no, it must be in here. I'm sure it's in here. The problem is that this story is so insane that like you can't even. This story is about John the Animorph, brother of Jake and Rachel. But they are not human. They're
Wait a minute.
Saiyan, Greek Roman demigods related to ever single god. John and the others are the mighty Animorphin Power Rangers. Combines Angry Beavers, Pokemon, Animorphs, Dragon Ball Z, and Power Rangers.
Hold on. How can they be? Jake and Rachel are not siblings. So how can they be the brother of both of them?
Okay, so um Jaylene and John that they are related to Jake and Rachel. Uh
What?
or no, John is related to Jake. Jaylene is John's love interest. I can't. It's so hard to keep
Jaylene.
this frickin' thing straight because very quickly we just get to like, oh, Gold from Pokemon Gold, like the he can go
Mm.
Super Saiyan and is gay, and Jaylene and John make out and then have two sons, Norbert and Daggett, the Angry Beavers. But
Okay.
they're actually Riolus because the characters are Lucarios. And like this goes, it's so I can't even like you just have to start going, and there must be some point at which they just tell you what happens at the end of Animorphs are in here, and that's why I said that. But
Mm.
I can't
Okay.
like my brain can't even handle how much happens in here. Like let
Sounds
let's
great.
let's skip forward a little bit here
Yeah.
after okay I'm now looking at the part where Gold and Typhlosion, who are both gay, are hanging out, but anyway, uh skip to John's perspective here. The other Rangers came right after. 108 Rangers, not including us, the mighty Animorphin Power Rangers. This makes 116 of us. Oh yeah, I forgot to count the new Animorphs. That's 121 humans plus 1 quintillion Pokemon. I hope I have enough Master Balls for them. That way, if they get hurt, they will go to Professor Elm's home in one of the many other Johto regions, because they're in a Johto region in the real world. It's just an analog to the Pokemon Johto region. They would be sent there right after I capture them. I would gain more Pokemon while saving them.
Yes.
Yeah, the battle started sooner than I thought. We outnumbered the Yerks. Only 6,879,000,000,000 hosts to 1 quintillion Pokemon and 120 humans and 1 Andalite. Yet the battle seemed to take forever. Almost all the Pokemon got hurt to where I had to capture them. As soon as Gold and Typhlosion came into the battle, Gold transformed into Super Saiyan. It made me sad when I had to capture Gold, but it was to keep him safe. Like, and this is chapter 1. In chapter 2, they go to the Pokemon dimension, and the Animorph stuff is just completely dropped, and there's no more Pokemon, or there's no more Yerks, there's no more anything. They're in Sinnoh now. It's totally new characters, and there's the 3rd chapter too. Like, this doesn't end.
Did Laserbot write this?
It's fully possible.
Tails gets trolled level crossover. Like, why else would Angry Beaver? The Angry Beavers is the funniest one. Like, all the other ones kind of make sense on their own. No one in their right mind would ever make Angry Beavers combined with Animorphs.
All right, I'll just skip to the epilogue of this story. It has been 10 years since I last saw Gabriel. Don't know who that is. I found out he has 3 kids now. He decided that he was still needed to help out, so he joined the Secret Service, protecting one person, me. I know that this is his first year in the Secret Service. I never told him this, but I had Axe bump him up to the top. Well, now I know. I turned around and saw him reading this. Hey, come on, you weren't supposed to read this, I said like a little kid. But I'm not a little kid, I'm 27 years old. Jake and Cassie got married, so did Rachel and Tobias. Axe became the leader of the CIA. Marco had a kid with Artemis, Greek goddess of the hunt. His name is Justin. The end.
What? Okay. Yeah, I get it.
This is definitely the most completely off the rails one that I read. It's not close.
Person here, Animorph 183. They have other stories also. They have an Angry Beavers Animaniacs crossover, Angry Beavers and Power Rangers, and they have a couple others that are just like different. Basically, this one has all of them, but they split some of those out into separate fics as well. Yeah. This is a person who loves Angry Beavers, man.
I'm reading this Mighty Animorph Pokedex holders, and the opening of this is just the lyrics to the opening theme song for the Johto part of the anime, and it's the entire song written out before the fic starts. So that
it's not a parody with Animorph's lyrics.
No, it's just the lyrics to the song, so you know you're in the anime.
Because, I'd be over here like, everybody wants to be a morpher. Everybody wants to show their yerks.
Nope, that's not what it says. But see, that's why you make the big bucks.
That's true. Okay. All right. Well, so all the other ones that I looked at we're in the territory of, like that one, things that just have one story in them. Like, there's just one freak who decided Animorphs needs to cross over with these things.
Yeah, I mean, I was mostly looking at those. Those were more entertaining to me anyway.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess we could just jump around here.
Sure, yeah.
I just have one that I just needed to comment on its existence, which is a crossover with the television show Glee.
Okay, yeah.
Which the idea is that a Yerk gets into the character Kurt's head from the show Glee, which is, about kids singing in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very short. It's very short. It's just a little brief story about just his perspective being like feeling bad there's a Yerk in him, and then like it makes him kiss a boy that he doesn't like or something, or that he bullies.
Whoa.
And then he hums Defying Gravity from Wicked. that story's called For a Little While. Okay. By Intricate Bindings.
Oh, this person writes stories for Hetalia Axis Powers. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, they have a lot of anime and
Orin High School. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is not just anime. This is a type. Oh boy.
Let's see. So that one's what that one is. There's another really weird one, and this one I didn't read all of it because it seemed like it was maybe getting spoilery. Which is a crossover between Animorphs and Pixar's Inside Out.
And
now,
did you know I've never seen Inside Out?
You have weird gaps in your movies sometimes.
I just never got out to the theater for that one, and then.
I mean, we don't need to get into it, but I feel like a lot of I actually don't think Inside Out is one of the better Pixar movies. Some people really love it. It didn't quite do it for me.
Yeah, I mean that's might be part of why I didn't get out. Is because it was just like, oh my god, I have to put effort in, and you're not that excited.
Yeah, I understand, but you don't understand the premise of it. This story is
Yeah.
basically what if Rachel had inside outs in her head, and it's
Oh
like
man.
I think it seems to like go through I think the whole series, or at least the it's not very long, but like the highlights of Rachel's journey, and just
Hmm.
like from the perspective of her little Pixar emotions. So that's I don't know, that's novel. That's the thing to do.
Yeah, I really like this idea. This does get kind of spoilery just skimming it. And by that I mean extremely spoilery. It's a good
Yeah,
thing you stopped.
my instincts, I could kind of tell. I was like, this is going too far.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, you can kind of do that with any story, I guess. You just put, you just say they have feelings. There you go.
Yeah, what a novel concept for a movie. They have feelings. Uh, I mean, it's not bad with Rachel though. It also might be fun with Tobias too.
That's true.
It's
That's
probably
true.
like the least fun with Marco because he probably just has like a humor guy who just beats everybody else up.
I don't. My problem with Inside Out is just there's a character named Joy and sadness and anger, and literally their defining traits are that that's the only emotion they can feel or express. Like that's the canon of this universe is that. And it's not like the movie's about Joy learning to feel other emotions. Like, no, pretty much from beginning to end, she's just always happy, except sometimes she's sad. So that doesn't make any sense either. But you have 90 minutes of about characters who they are literally one dimensional. Like, they only have one emotion. And I'm supposed to become attached to this character. All it can do is feel sad. Like, that's the whole character from top to bottom. There's no nuance. This is not interesting to me. This is from the ground up. It's just a bad idea. That's just. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the fans of Inside Out. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know that was going to be awakened for inside of me. I'm done. I finished. I'm finished. Are you there?
I'm here.
Say something.
Well, this is just a little. I mean, I clicked on the profile for this person, the Dimension Crossing Mew, because I can't help myself.
Yeah.
And it says for people that hate stereotypes, if you think people should just shut up and stop, put this on your profile. Bold the ones you are. And then it's just like a long, long, like pages long list of like, and some of them are like, I'm skinny, so I must be anorexic. I'm emo, so I must cut my wrists. And then the next one down.
Go on.
It says I'm a Negro, so I must carry a gun.
Oh my god.
And they don't get less offensive from there. And this person has gone through and bolded all of the ones that they are.
Oh
Like
my god.
like I'm a white girl, so I must be a nagging steal your money kind of girlfriend. I have a bunch of guy friends, so I must be fucking them all. I hang out with gays, so I must be gay too. I'm a female gamer, so I must be ugly or crazy. This is insane. I can't I can't handle looking at this.
All right, you got to close that page.
I think I really have to. This is not good.
We can't go down this rabbit
It's
hole right now.
really bad.
Okay. All right.
Jesus Christ.
We got to move on to other crossover fics, okay? I have a few more that I want to hit before we're done.
Okay. Yeah, you need to get me out of here because
can
it's
you collect
not good.
yourself? Okay. We'll look at this later off air.
Okay.
All right, next one that I want to look at Well, there is one I want to mention that I truly didn't read almost any of it, and I'm extremely intimidated by it. It's called The Dragon Curve.
Mm.
It is by someone named Locke Soley, and no, it's not about a bad dragon dildo. This is ostensibly a crossover between Animorphs and Jurassic Park. Okay?
Okay.
There's a note in the beginning where they say, this is my Animorphs JP crossover. It'll include a fan race like the Diangs or the Korla/Mac or the Taruff. I don't know if those are their fan races or if those are things in Animorphs I don't know yet.
We've definitely talked about the Mac. I'm pretty sure we've brought up the Korla and the Diangs. I don't know what the Taruff is, but I'm also pretty sure all of these are races that are mentioned once every time she's like, the Yeerks came, they infested the Geds, and then the Mac, and then the Hork-Bajir or something.
Yeah, right. Okay. So this is, this one is almost 200,000 words.
Jesus.
There are 7 divided into 7 chapters. I tried to like at least skim it. I still don't know like where the Jurassic Park comes in. I don't know what this story is. I just needed to mention it because it's just crazy. It's just so big. I can't even, it's terrifying to me. So I don't know. Anyone who's brave enough, I don't know if if like Hammond turns out to be Rachel's uncle or something, and they turn into dinosaurs. Maybe they do more dinosauring than in Megamorphs 2. Maybe it's better. I don't know.
I just clicked into one of the random interludes, and there's here's an Unga chick. Having an Unga chick host is rare and is seen as a form of status.
Oh yeah, I see they mentioned Visser 7.
There's some point where it says you didn't say the magic word in bold like 100 times in a word.
Oh yeah, imagine Axe being like, I know Unix. Okay, so I don't know. That one terrified me.
This one looks good, but I don't think I can handle it.
No, it's too much. You don't know if you can handle it?
You're right. And when you're right, you're right.
Feel free to interject if you have one you want. Otherwise, I'm just going to go through all mine. I don't know what else you have.
The most we haven't had any crossover yet. Stuff, so. Okay. I think we've had a little bit, but not like hugely. I think you picked a lot more stories than I did, and some of them were like I read your stories, but I was like, all right, John will talk about it or he won't.
I'll say most of the rest of mine are really stupid ones. Mm-hmm. I guess the least stupid. I'll save the really stupid ones for the end.
Okay.
And I'll go with the least stupid one that I still have, which is the Allies. It's called The Allies by Lily of the Shadow. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't say least stupid. It's still stupid, but it takes itself more seriously. Mm-hmm. This one is the Invader Zim crossover.
Yes, I saw this and I was like, you should handle this one. This looks pretty intense. And you're a Zim head.
Listeners should know, I truly, I was a big, obsessed with Invader Zim as a kid, as a teenager. Mm-hmm. I wasn't the kid who looked like a Hot Topic kid, mm-hmm. But I wanted to go to Hot Topic because I wanted to buy Gur on a pillow or something. I was all about it.
Yeah, makes sense.
I still am. And by the way, that Jurassic Park one was like from 2022 or something. Just so everyone's aware, it's very recent.
A lot of these are way more recent.
Yes, which is I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I will say we alluded to a couple things last episode that we forgot to say about fan fiction, and one of them is that as Will knows, I did at one point write sort of an erotic Star Wars fan fiction.
So you sort of, kind of, in a way.
Mine was between Yaddle and Salacious B. Crumb. And if you subscribe to our Patreon, or if we get enough emails about it, maybe I'll release that to the public, or I should submit it to fanfiction.net.
You'll learn what it's like when Salacious crumbs.
I'm just well, I don't want to. Things don't spoil anything. I might just add like, and Jake was watching, and call it a crossover fic.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea when you're describing all the things in Jabba's room.
People listening are like, "This is a joke, right?" They don't know. Maybe
they
it is,
have
maybe it isn't.
no idea if you've actually done this or not.
The reason I bring it up is because I also, and I wish I could tell you I still had it, or I remembered what it was, or that I even finished it, but I do have a memory of writing an Invader Zim fan fiction.
Oh man.
Probably when I was, whatever this age was, 12 or 13. And I couldn't tell you what it was about. I don't think I shared it or published it anywhere, but I remember like this was my one attempt in my life to write a fanfic. So that should tell you my level of love for Invader Zim. Anyway, this story, this is a weird one. So this is one that basically posits that Invader Zim took place in the Animorphs universe. And in this universe, Invader Zim, if people don't know, Zim is an alien. He pretends to be a kid in school, and his enemy is Dib. And in this version of the story, Dib and Zim went to elementary school with the Animorphs. Then they disappeared for some reason. All the Invader Zim stuff happened. The Animorphs were doing their thing in the background. And this is years later now in current Animorphs times. I guess they weren't the Animorphs yet. And now Dib returns to school one day now at the age of the Animorphs. So he's aged up. He's like 14 or 15, whereas I guess I don't know how old they were. He was like 10 or something in the series. And so all the Animorphs are like, oh, it's that crazy Dib kid who always was talking about aliens. Oh, but now we know there are aliens. So what's that mean? And this is 25,000 words. There are 19 chapters. I read a lot of them. I skimmed a lot, but I did get to the end. I did read a lot of this story. And it takes its goddamn time telling you what the fuck is going on. So I will cut through the fat and sum it up for you. Basically, we find out that the way Zim's species works is at some point, they become tall, which is, if you remember from the show, there's the tall ones. And on Zim's planet, there's special medication you take to manage your growth spurts. But Zim doesn't have access to that on Earth, so his growth spurts are extremely painful and horrible. And one day Dib finds him like naked and stretched out, and his organs are all fucked up, and his bones are fucked up.
Right, yeah. No, all of this just sounds like the plot to an episode I forgot.
Yeah, it's a little bit like the Body Harvest one, maybe. And so Dib like feels sympathy for him and like saves his life or something. And that's how they are now friends. Okay. Zim and Dib are now partners. And also at one point, Gaz, Dib's sister, got a yerk in her head, got infested by a yerk, so then they starved the yerk out, but they had to pretend Gaz was dead so the yerks wouldn't be looking for her. And now she's pretending to be some other kid with like a blonde wig. And at one point, Dib mentions like, it's weird seeing my sister looking like a blonde bimbo. I don't know. I'm sure things could be mined from that. It's very weird.
And to me, Gaz feels like the type who would like berate the yerk out of her head.
Yes.
Like it just wouldn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, something much funnier would happen if this were Invader Zim's story. But this story is like, it takes itself so serious. And, there's still some, like, Zim still says filthy humans, and Gur is still, like, is there and talks about waffles and shit. But it's very dramatic for the most part, and these like Zim and Dib have a genuine partnership, and they're all teaming up now with the Animorphs to fight the Yerks. It's bizarre. It is really weird. I recommend everyone read it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it takes so like what I just said is like there's like 8 chapters of why are you two working together? Oh, I can't. I'll tell you that another time. And it's they drag it out so much. I don't know, man.
uh,
It's strange. Anyway, that's the Ally. It has 107 reviews. Like people were a lot of people are talking about this one.
yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know anything about Invader Zim, but it certainly sounds crazy.
but I
Says
thought
CJ one of
you've.
four.
I thought that was you talking.
No, no.
Wait, oh, so someone just read this, not
Yeah,
even
yeah.
knowing what Zim is.
Ooh, Cryptological Mystic says nobody is allowed to interfere with them, whether they're planet jackers, Gallifreyans, or Andalites. If that's a Doctor Who reference right there, awesome.
I don't like this story anymore.
And how is Gallifreyans not a Doctor Who reference? Like, what do they mean if it is? Like, that's all right.
Maybe it was just a coincidence.
Maybe, yeah, no, you never know.
Oh yeah, there's a part where like how Zim has the little backpack with the spider legs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like turns out you need to have weird spinal surgery, and they like make one for Dib. So yeah, they talk about like his spinal surgery. It's I don't know. People who write this shit, something is wrong with them. Something happened that's
That
wrong.
again, though, also just feels like something out of Invader Zim. Like Dib needs spinal
Yeah,
surgery.
yeah, maybe.
I think if you like Invader Zim, there's just something wrong with you.
Well, that's proven true by me, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want? I've got 3 more that I can.
Okay. I didn't pick a ton here, but well, how do you feel about Animorphs the Symbiosis? Which is a crossover between Animorphs and My Little Pony.
Okay, I'd love to hear about it. I don't feel great about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I would like you to take me on that journey.
Mm. Well, my name is Twilight Sparkle, Princess Celestia's favorite student, Princess of Friendship, and as of last week, Pony Controller. If that term confuses you, then congratulations, probably. You are obviously unaware of the war going on. This isn't an ordinary war with warrior casters and Pegasi shock troops. No, this is a war so insidious, even some of its own combatants are disguised or are disgusted with their side. This is a war against the Yeerks, a parasitic species that at first glance looks similar to the common gastropod found in Equestria. This alien species, however, rather than being the bane of gardeners, is the bane of sentient species throughout the galaxy. You see, they use their boneless body to slip into a pony's body through an as yet undetermined means and wrap themselves around the brain, sinking their hooks into every nook and cranny. Once they've done that, the Yeerk wrests control from the pony, leaving them trapped inside their own mind as they watch the Yeerk move their body around, tricking every pony around them into thinking they are still them as they work toward the conquest of pony kind behind the scenes. So, it's a pretty good hook right off the bat. And I wish
mean,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
First note, it should have started with my name is Twilight and like I can't tell you my last name.
Well, Twilight Sparkle can tell you her last name. Well, she's already a pony controller.
Well, she was one, I thought. I don't.
Yeah, as of last week. So this is flashes back to before she got infested.
You're a pony head. What do you think about this one?
I honestly wanted.
Why did I say pony head and not brony? I forgot that's the term.
I'm not a brony. I'll take pony head.
Okay.
Just because I have a favorite pony doesn't mean, you know.
Like, well, Cassie has a favorite mare.
Right. The mayor of Equestria, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But most of this story is just them doing pony things in Equestria. And it does a decent job of staying in the voice here, because Twilight Sparkle has an upcoming party, and because she's being newly coronated as the Princess of Friendship now that she's an alicorn, which happened, I guess, around. I don't know if that was the actual end of My Little Pony or just where I stopped watching. Yeah, I know you're so happy. Aren't you glad you let me do this?
Mhm.
but but
Mhm.
at any rate, like Rarity, it turns out, is already a pony controller, so she's going to take measurements for Twilight Sparkle's new dress. But when Twilight Sparkle shows up at the boutique, it's a trap, and she's attacked and knocked out and captured. Now we don't really get any more to the story. it's
Aw.
it's 1500 words. It's mostly them talking about this upcoming party, and then Twilight Sparkle gets kidnapped. I do
So
wish I think this is a promising idea. It's kind of surprising to me how few of
that's
these
your
stories.
that's your note as the teacher. You write that on the top. A promising idea.
A promising idea, just actually write it. No, I think it is weird how few of these stories are told from the perspective of a controller. Like, we haven't seen it. Like, that feels like an interesting idea, right? To be
Maybe
like,
that's
I was infested.
one of our episodes. Maybe we find those specifically.
Yeah.
But
Because
yeah,
this was really gearing up to be that, but we don't get any of that part of the writing here.
yeah. Oh well. This is another one where it's Yerks in another world. There's no Jake and Cassie or anything like that.
Yeah, it's just Yerks in Equestria.
So I like that. That's better.
Yeah. No, like I said, I think this is actually very well written, and they get the voice fairly down in terms of the characters.
Okay, I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna look at it, but I believe it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are your other stupid little ones?
Here's one. Did you see this one that was a crossover with Teletubbies? It's called Anatubbies.
I did not.
Yeah, this is by Salad Shooter. So,
Mm-hmm.
got to be a
Yeah.
Hork-Bajir reference.
Right.
Here's the description of this one. The author forces the Animorphs to do a Teletubbies episode. Shenanigans ensue. This is another one I wrote when I was 12 to 13-ish, so yeah. Warning, lots of ableism.
Uh-oh.
I gotta be honest, I skimmed through most of this. I don't recall the ableism. I'm not sure where that is.
You just might not be a very, I don't know, progressive person.
True, you're right. But this is kind of, Teletubbies kind of like the original Friendship is Magic, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, weren't there instead of bronies, he had like brubbies?
Oh, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. Right, yes.
Yeah, so I'm just saying it's a good segue.
Right.
This is one of the weirdest ones because the way it is framed, it's first of all, it's written. This is the only one I saw written this way. It's written like a script, like with characters' names and then the dialogue rather than like a novel.
Mm-hmm.
And it is written as if the narrator, Salad Shooter, is part of the story. And this is kind of what I thought last week, what your Narrafear was doing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, the author literally is a character and injects himself into the story. And it's like they're an omniscient god in this universe. And they have just made the Animorphs for this story do an episode of Teletubbies. So the Animorphs are like, have to put on costumes and are deciding which Teletubby they are. And then they have to enact an episode of the Teletubbies. I don't know. I don't think they really morph in this story. They just are the Teletubbies. Eventually Visser 3 shows up and he does, I think, morph into it. He becomes a black Teletubby, which is, they say, is scary, but then he also becomes a pink Teletubby, which I guess that's funny.
Sure.
It's written again. This is the epitome of the kind of epic spork random type of humor. And chapter 1 is called Crazy. Chapter 2 is called Crazier. The Elemist also shows up in this one. In case you're curious, Jake is Tinky Winky. Tobias is a different colored Tinky Winky. Marco is Dipsy.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel's Lala, Cassie is Poe, and Axe is the New,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is the vacuum cleaner.
Right.
Just a lot of this feels like just rambling kind of stream of consciousness, not always very much to do with Teletubbies. You might like it because it's kind of just a lot of banter between the Animorphs, like doing very little.
It's possible. It's possible. It's
There's
also
there's some
possible that I will. It would be like this is too. It's too much, you guys.
yeah. Well, here's a little part here where let's see, I don't know, I don't know why they're talking about this, men and women. Salad Shooter says, "Hey, I'm one of the few Animorphs who doesn't hate you," to Visser 3. So like I said, he's just talking to the characters. And Cassie says, "I just figured it out. If the voice is one of the author's favorite characters, well, Salad Shooter has 4 favorite characters." Salad Shooter, 5. I just added the Elemist recently. Cassie, okay, 5. They're trying. I don't. Do you see where this is going?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
trying to. It's just chaotic nonsense like this back and
Yeah.
forth.
Now, what about this part? Marco uses Visser 3 for a chair. Honk. Visser 3, get off, you idiot. Rachel, Marco may be an idiot. Marco, hey. Rachel, but he is not getting off. What do you think about that?
I don't think that that's intended the way you're reading it.
Wait, how am I reading it?
I did
Like to get
this.
off of Visser 3.
Yeah,
He's going to stay up there and go honk. I don't know what
Right.
you were thinking.
No, that's what I was thinking. I did
Okay.
like this part where the Elemist is there and Visser 3 wants to be in all caps too, so he's yelling so that he can be in all caps too. They're like, "Stop yelling." All right.
Now let's read some reviews on this. Zotram says, "Ha ha ha ha! This is great." Hooray! The Weird says, "Okay, if you don't write more and the world blows up, whatever is left of me is kicking your butt. If you don't write more, but if you did write more and the world blew up, then I would die in peace, surrounded by my body part." Amy Angelblade says, "Oh my god, I haven't laughed so hard in ages. That was so funny. Animorphs meets the Teletubbies. Hee. Hey, didn't I mention the Teletubbies in my story? Oh, copyright joke. Oh, please keep going. My tummy hurts from laughing. Love you to pieces." Freak Apple says, rolls around heaving and gasping for air. Ha ha ha, gasp. Ha 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 ha, LMFAO. Oh lordy lord. Ha 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 ha. Okay, I'm calm now. I liked it. Ha 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 ha. There's a lot more like this.
So when I say that some of these embarrass me because it's like how I would have written stories as a kid, this is kind of a lot like what I'm talking about. I will admit right now.
God, I'm so glad I never did anything interesting as a child.
Yeah,
I can be
I didn't
ashamed
write
of.
much fan fiction, but I do have stories I wrote, and they are pretty bad. Okay, we'll share those in the Patreon. I have another one here. I'm just going to keep going. I don't know. Do you have any left?
I have one left, but it's a very good one. You probably have it too.
Is it? Well, I have 2 left, and one of them I was thinking of saving for the end. That might be the one you have.
It might be.
Does it start with a D?
It does not.
Oh, it doesn't.
No.
Interesting. What letter does it start with?
We'll see what happens. I'll let you do yours last this time. I'll do mine second to last.
Well, I have 2 left.
Yeah, so do one and then I'll do one.
I told you I couldn't help myself.
It's okay.
All right. I've got one here called "But Instead of the Animorphs," comma.
Okay, this was the one that I was going to do.
Oh, that's your... Oh, okay. Oh, well, you know what? Then let's save it. Let's save it then.
No, we can do this now, and then you can... If you had another one you wanted to end on after this, then we can...
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No, I think we should save this for the end because we both have it. We can both discuss it.
Okay.
I think this one is a good summation of all these.
Okay. So what's your other one?
My other one is called Datamorphs.
Whoa.
It's a crossover between Animorphs and American Dad.
Oh, I should have clicked that clearly.
yeah, really. So, and this is probably better to do now because honestly, here's the weird thing about the story is it's not very funny. It's it's like a bizarre choice to use the American Dad characters and not really have them tell very many jokes. In
That
this
is very
story,
weird.
I mean, there's a little bit of like them insulting each other, but I don't. Maybe this person's just so unfunny that it doesn't come across. But it's not super comedic. The family from American Dad goes to Kansas. I don't know why it's Kansas. I'm like, do they think that's where Animorphs happened? I don't know. Because there's, Stan is in the CIA and he finds out there's an alien there. And there's a lot of back and forth about Roger wanting to come with and needing a disguise. And eventually they get morphing powers. And they, like Stan turns into a bald eagle because he's loves America. And it's just there's some meta jokes about morphing and all this stuff. And I don't know. It's just that's really all there is to it's not very well written, and it's also kind of hard to read because it's a lot of text like squished into not very many paragraphs and no line breaks in between dialogue or anything like that.
Yeah. Clumbar BB says, I'm having trouble understanding this story. And the author, Axe the Andalite, responds, maybe because you don't watch Animorphs. Don't read a fan fiction when it clearly states crossovers with a book you have never before read in your life. You just read it to be a jerk about it, I know.
Fair. Good rebuttal.
Yeah, it is. It is very odd. Like, are there people who are really interested in like the lore and character dynamics of American Dad? Like this, like you wouldn't write a Family Guy fanfic,
yeah,
and then not make it.
It is weird. I do think that American Dad is a little bit more plot driven and character driven than Family Guy. Certainly, I think certainly more. And I do think there's probably more people who just like either want to fuck Francine or Roger or both.
Yeah, I could see it.
Probably part of it.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, if it's a Simpsons thing, you don't say, like, oh, well, why isn't that a comedy? It's like, yeah, people write serious Simpsons fanfic all the time. So maybe American Dad's like that, but I don't know.
I have watched some American Dad, not enough, but I do, yeah, it's a funny show.
I think I only ever saw some, like, early American Dad, and I feel like people say it changed or something. I don't know.
Hard to say. Let us know, American Dad stands out there. Get it? Stands?
I do get it.
So there's that one, Datamorphs. Now let's end on this one over here.
But instead of the Animorphs.
I'll let you introduce it.
All right. Arr, this be me last quarter. If you lose us this round, it's coming out of your paycheck. Harry sighed and rubbed his temples. He'd never been very good at video games to begin with. That was more his cousin Dudley's area of specialty, but playing them with Mr. Krabs was extra stressful. Mr. Krabs had the annoying habit of concerning himself much more with the quarters they spent on the game than the gameplay itself, which was very distracting. So this is the story of the invasion. But instead of Jake and Margot and Tobias, it is Harry Potter, Mr. Krabs, and a ghost whose name is Terry. Now, I don't know if Terry is from something or not.
I looked this up. I looked up a specific, because they use the phrase several times. They always call him a ghost whose name is Terry, like a pimp named Slickback.
Yes.
And I Google gave me nothing. I think this is an original character.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well, let me just give you a picture of this ghost whose name is Terry. So he's vaguely transparent and pretty much white, shaped like an oval who'd been cut in half with the jagged-edged scissors, or like a sheet that had been draped over a floating basketball, and then the bottom half had been snipped by a jagged-edged scissors, or like a valentine, but the person who made it accidentally cut on the wrong side of the paper, the side they didn't fold on, and then they took one of the heart halves and turned it white and somehow stretched the pointy side back out to a full rectangle, and then cut off the bottom with the jagged-edged scissors. So hopefully that gives you a clear
Okay.
mental picture of what this guy looks
Yeah.
like.
I've got that. I've got that now. That makes sense. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. Cool. Yeah.
But
Yeah, this story.
mhm.
It's so just to reiterate for anyone who didn't pick up on this, it's the Animorphs with SpongeBob SquarePants and Harry Potter.
Mhm.
And as far as I can tell, they don't I I don't know if they are underwater and Harry is wearing an air helmet or if they are on land and Mr. Krabs is just up on land. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be visualizing here.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that they're on land because when I imagine this story, I imagine this is literally just the story of Animorphs, but we like cut out the characters and subbed in these new ones.
And this is another one where at least Mr. Krabs is greedy in this story and says
Mhm.
R.
Yeah.
Harry Potter, you could sub him out with any name in the world. There is nothing in this story that I noticed that distinguishes him as Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Am I
no,
wrong?
I don't think there is. He's just here.
It's so strange. Like, did they just want SEO clicks or something? Why is he Harry Potter?
I,
He doesn't do magic or anything.
I mean, it
Nothing.
probably is something like that. It's like, what's the most ridiculous thing? Well, everybody crosses Harry Potter over with everything, so we better use him.
I guess the problem is like, especially compared to Mr. Krabs, but even in general, Harry Potter doesn't really have like he doesn't have an accent or a catchphrase. He's kind of just a kid,
Hmm.
like
I
it's
mean,
not
he
like
does
even
have an accent. You could write it out.
that's true. But even if you went with like Hermione, there's kind of like if I said do an impression of Hermione, you could do one. But what's an impression of Harry Potter? Like he's just a guy.
Oh, I'm
You know what I
Harry
mean?
Potter. I have a
Okay,
scar
you're
on
right.
my head.
I've been proven wrong. What can I say?
That's
Yeah,
how
and
it
the
goes.
ghost named Terry is a really strange choice. I did like that the principal is Principal 3.
Yes. And there's a whole thing where they ask him if they'd seen him the other night at the construction site, and he says no, and they buy it, which is very fortunate. Although it gets confusing when he then talks to himself afterward and says, "I'm glad they bought it because otherwise they would have known I was at the construction site." But since they bought it, they didn't know what he meant because obviously he wasn't there.
I thought that part was pretty funny.
That part was pretty good. I also like when it just says he turned into an Antarian bog and took a bite out of Elfangor.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
It was quite good.
And then he tries to kill Terry, but he's just a ghost, so he can't. There's nothing there. Something like that
Oh
happens.
yeah, he does. Uh,
Yeah.
Now Mr. Krabs here kind of takes on the Tobias role as opposed, Tobias shows up in Jake's room and morphs a cat. But in this one, Mr. Krabs shows up in Harry's room, revealing that he used his morphing powers to rob a bank. Um,
Right.
and Harry says you probably shouldn't be doing that with the power. We should be looking him. And Mr. Krabs looks slightly ashamed of himself and says, "Ar, it be true."
Bit of a David type.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Harry does ask what's the exchange rate between galleons and quarters. So that's how you
Mm.
know he's Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, right. The gold
And
galleons.
and there's also a part where they refer to the ghost whose name is Terry as that ghost from algebra. So this makes me think this is like something their algebra teacher, like this is some kind of inside joke or something.
Oh, yeah, that could be.
But it's hard to parse. This is all speculation.
Yeah, it is very difficult. Now, there are a couple lines I'm seeing in here. Like, Harry says, like, "Gosh, this is ever bad," which is, I think
Oh,
their attempts to
classic
be,
Harry.
like, posh or whatever, because that makes you sound more British.
But Harry's not. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
whatever.
he's
Okay.
not. It doesn't work. We should give our feedback on this. I don't see any reviews. We should come in and be like, "The fuck were you
No.
doing with Harry Potter? You screwed up the characterization. You've ruined the series for me. Everything about it was perfect, and I loved the creator. Not necessarily her work, but her opinions on social
Right.
media.
That's
But
how we
then
all
you've
feel.
spoiled it all.
Now, okay, so those are our stories. There are plenty more on here we didn't touch. We didn't talk about. I didn't look at the Star Trek. There's Avengers. There's like some really bizarre ones like Book of Mormon and Malcolm in the Middle is another one.
Yeah, those probably are similar to the Mr. Krabs one.
So I don't know. It's maybe we should have saved this crossover one for later because I don't know how we get in terms of fan fiction. You can't get stupider than this. I don't think.
Well, next time we'll do good fan fiction.
Yeah, that will be the theme of the next one. Is good.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I don't think I hit any good ones across what I was doing.
Well, if you are a listener to this and you wrote one of these fan fictions or you have an opinion about one of them, or again, there's a fan fiction in this category we didn't mention, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us, theyerkyboys@gmail.com. You can also ask us any questions you have there or any comments about Animorphs at all, keeping spoilers in mind up to our current point in the series, of course.
Right, which is that the fan fiction.
That's right. We're at the part where Mr. Krabs robs a bank. And what else do I say? This is our last quote unquote filler episode, so for now there may be I think we'll do more of the fan fiction kind of stuff and the K.A. Applegate kind of stuff next season, but next week is our return to the normal schedule.
Yeah, things will be back to normal finally.
Yeah, can't wait. If you'd like to follow me on the internet outside of this podcast, I have another podcast called Geeks on Trial, where I settle debates between geeks, and sometimes I really fuck them up. You can go ahead and find that on your podcast platform of choice, or go to jonathanessis.com. I have a short-lived older podcast called Future Fiction Theater, which really is kind of like fan fiction if you think about it. You can find that on my website. Thanks for listening to me.
You can find me on the internet at Dog Times at Blue Sky. Thanks everyone for listening. Tune in next time when we'll be talking about Book 23, The Pretender, in which Tobias turns into a bunny rabbit on the Yerky Boys.